Hi everyone, and welcome back to Easy Cooking with Linda B. As you all know, the big game is coming up February 9th. And for those of you who are hosting the big parties, you're probably trying to come up with a menu that is super easy and something you prepare in advance and have it ready for game day. Well, I have something for you like that. I'm going to show you how to make a super simple cinnamon sugar tortilla chips that are sweet and light and not filling, and also a Mediterranean pull-apart bread, which is delicious and it's healthy and it's filling. And I'm going to show you how to put them both together. I was having guests over at the cottage and the food was getting low and everyone still had a taste or something, and I had to think of something really quick. And what I had there was, but they were larger, the 10-inch flour tortillas. And I had cinnamon and sugar, and I said, oh, well, you know what? I'm going to put this together. This is exactly how I made it for everyone, and they loved it. I'm starting out with some vegetable oil, and I'm heating up my pan. I'm going to put probably about 1/4 cup of oil in there. Now, what's important is that you let your oil get warm, actually more than warm. You want to get it hot. So while that's heating up, over here at my cutting station, I'm going to take my flour tortillas, and we're using the low carb ones. You could use whatever ones you want. But if you're going to have a big crowd of people, try to get the larger, the 10-inch ones. So I have a stack of them. I have, what, 3 here. First, what I do is I cut this in half, fold it over, and now I'm going to cut these into triangles or wedges, if you will. You could use a pizza cutter or you could use a knife, just like what I'm doing right here. Okay. Simple enough right there. Okay, so what's important when you're doing this snack, you just want to get everything prepared first. So in this bowl, I'm going to take about 1 cup of sugar, just regular white granulated sugar. And then I'm going to take cinnamon. Now, however much you put in there, all depends upon you. We love cinnamon. So the more cinnamon in here, the happier we are. So for us, I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons, maybe a little more, of cinnamon. And then I need to whisk it all together because I want to combine these two. Okay, so that's mixed up very well. So that's now ready. Because what I will do is take my tortillas and I will start to heat them up. Okay, so now I'm checking to see if my oil is hot. So I'm going to start out by adding 1 tortilla. Oh, and it looks like it's doing nicely. So I'm going to let that cook. And sometimes I'll puff right up too, which is nice because it creates that air pocket inside. And what you want it to do is get a nice golden brown on the bottom. Oh, it's starting to puff up a little bit. You don't want it too hot because if it's too hot, it's going to burn. And there's no recovering, you just got to throw it out. Okay, so I'm going to just throw that right into my sugar mixture and then move it around to coat it. So what I could do here, because this is a little bit of a process, I'm going to put more than 1 chip in here. Let that cook and get this coated. They're looking nice. So really it takes about 30 seconds to have these toasted up and ready. Shake off your excess, throw it in the cinnamon. Ooh, it smells good too. Definitely shake off that excess oil, but you want to put it right in to the sugar so that now when you shake it around and mix it, it's going to coat them and the oil will grab onto the sugar and it will stick. just like that. What I found too, if it works even better, is if you take one of those lunch bags. I think they still sell them. I haven't bought the paper lunch bags. Bob's shaking his head yes. Get some of those, and then you could fill the bag with the sugar mixture and just drop in your tortillas and shake it around. And then this way it'll coat it. Don't use plastic. I made that mistake once. It burnt right through the plastic. So it just takes a little longer to do it in the bowl. But if you can just get in a paper bag, much faster. Also, use a larger skillet if you're making a big batch. I'm just using, I believe that's a 10-inch skillet, just for demonstration purposes. And here they are, the cinnamon sugar tortilla chips. They are so good. And you can make a big batch of these. Actually, you could do them the day before and just store them in an airtight container. But do not contain them until they are completely cool, because otherwise they'll start to get soft and they won't taste good. So now I'm going in for a taste test. As you can see, they're completely coated with the sugar on the front and the back. These are so good. The cinnamon, oh, I love it. And they're sweet, and they're not heavy, and they're not greasy. That's the best part. Okay, so to make this Mediterranean pull-apart bread, I like to start out by putting my saucepan on low heat. And what I will do is I'm going to add probably about 2 tablespoons of oil. Now what I did was I added 3 tablespoons of butter. I've used salted butter. You could use unsalted, but you may just want to add a little seasoning to it afterwards. I'm also starting out with 3 cloves of minced garlic. Okay, so now with that in there, the next thing I want to add is a little bit of heat. This is optional. This is how I like to make it. I'm going to put probably about that much in there. I would say that's about 1/8 of a teaspoon. I'm going to add some thyme. It's my favorite go-to spice. Also oregano, because this is going to be, we want to get the Mediterranean flavors in here. A little bit of onion powder, because I'm not adding fresh onion to this. Let this cook for a few minutes. So while that's cooking, I want to go on to the next thing. I'm going to take artichokes. Now these came out of the can. I got a 14-ounce can. I'm not sure if I'm going to use them all. I will start out with maybe a half a can. You also have here some fresh spinach that I have rinsed, spun out. And please make sure you wash your fresh produce. And now what I will do is pulse this. Just like that. That looks good. Oh my goodness, that smells good. And I didn't even add anything to it. All right, so now what I'm going to use is a round bread. Now this is an artisan bread. I want to take this round bread. I'm going to find a good spot. And now what I want to do is I'm going to make diamond-shaped cuts. So I'm going to saw it through. Now this is a little bit of a harder bread. Now you can get more of a, like a sourdough bread, or bread that's a little bit softer. Or even what I think I may do, just to make it a little easier for me, is nuke it in the microwave for maybe about 15 seconds, just to get it soft, and I could go ahead and slice it. I'll be right back. Okay, so I put my bread in the microwave for about 30 seconds, and that really did seem to help it. I'm cutting it, but I am not cutting it all the way through. So I'm going to work on this side, and then I'll show you how we get our diamond shaped cuts. Okay, so now I've cut this side, so I'm going to do like a 1/4 of a turn here. So all the cuts are going this way. Now I'm going to go at an angle this way. Same thing, do not cut all the way through. As you can see, the pieces are starting to separate, which is good because then it makes it easier for me to get the filling inside. Okay, so my bread is cut through. As you can see, it's easily opened and they're a nice diamond shape. What I want to do, just to make things a little easier for me to work with, is I'm going to pour it into my Pyrex here. The thing I'd like to add is pimentos. Then, of course, here is my spinach and the artichokes. Let's mix this all together. Now, the other thing I want to do is I'm going to grab some cheese and I'm going to add it to my mixture. Okay, most of you probably heard me mention this before. Whenever I have leftover cheese, I wrap it and I freeze it. So when I need it for little applications like this, it's perfect. So I have mozzarella and I'm going to use my microplane because I like to get just the very fine shards of cheese in there. I don't want big, huge chunks. And along with that, I have some Parmesan Reggiano cheese. So I will mix this together. And if you find that you do need a little more liquid, go ahead and add a little more oil. That's fine. Now you will notice that I've taken my bread and I put it on a baking tray lined with foil and parchment paper. So now I'm going to try my best to get these inside. So maybe it'll help if I pick it up like this. And of course, if you have someone who can help you in the kitchen do this, it'll just make things so much easier for you. So what you want to try to do is get that right in between the cracks there, like this. Oh, and this is going in nicely. See, when you could get your cuts so that it opens but not cut through, it'll work perfectly for you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the time to get this filled up. I'll show you what it looks like when it's ready to go in the oven. Okay, so the bread is filled. I used all of that filling, but what I want to do is I just want to put a little layer of butter on top. So I melted it in the same glass that I have the filling. So I'm going to brush this all on top. This is just going to add flavor. It'll crust up the bread. Okay, and I want to add a little more cheese. I've got my Parmesan Reggiano. Sprinkle that on top. Just like that. So I'm going to wrap it first with the parchment. And this will help to steam the bread. It'll help soften it. So, because we're going to cover it first, we're going to bake it probably for about 15 minutes. I have the oven set at 375 degrees. So 15 minutes covered and probably another 10 to 15 minutes uncovered. But you'll have to check it in between. So here it is, Mediterranean pull-apart bread. Right now it's very hot, but I'll get it plated up and I'll go in for a taste test. Grandpa? See, Grandpa? Grandpa? Hi everyone, I just wanted to introduce you to my grandson. This is Liam. He's a happy baby. See Grandpa? Look at Grandpa at the camera. Oh, well, he's hungry now, so we're going to have to feed him. Here with me, this is my daughter-in-law, Laura. And here is the Mediterranean pull-apart bread. Came out beautiful. Look inside of the cracks. You'll see that there is all sorts of filling in here. You could always double the recipe if you want, other than how I made it. So now we are going in for the taste test. So as it says, pull apart. Ooh, got a nice crispy. Ooh, look at that. See, you pulled apart perfectly. Ooh, ready? Cheers.
It's so good. Thing with artichoke is amazing.
I know, it really, really is. So I hope that I was able to give you some ideas and creating a menu for your party and all your guests. I'll have more coming up too in the next week. And also remember, enjoy life and never stop learning. Bye now.